So this is all of the actual from all the artistry from today on day 2 here at SOCSEA. And so I'll go a whistle-stop tour over what the artist has done. Peter, who's still at the back, scribbling away on some other stuff. He's sponsored by Water Silver Fleet as well. So we started off with the future energy and fuels, where we're looking at offshore wind and nuclear, and how they can both play a part. And one of the things from the nuclear stage was about actually the really nasty stuff right at the end is very small. And then we moved that in using offshore wind, we moved into electric Thames, where we were talking about an innovation project that's ongoing with companies looking at how we can decarbonise the Thames using electricity and hydrogen. But actually the whole point of this is to prove that it's a model that's scalable, and then we can actually roll it out wider and wider. Currently we're looking at the centre of the Thames. One of the key things that came out from today though has all been about empathy for our environment. And actually it's not just from today, it's not just this stage and Blue Invest stage next door, it's throughout the whole conference there's been this empathy for the city and the environment. And then feeding into that is actually how can we all make shared and binding commitments, and that links into the charter that's coming out from SOCSEA this year. Okay, and then linking in with those commitments, what we actually found was that when we were looking at the energy transition, there isn't a silver bullet. Someone described it as it's more of a silver buckshot, and multiple technologies that we're going to need to use. We've got these first movers, we need to have finance, it's a global issue that we need to have everything sorted. We can't delay, because if we delay, it gets even worse. We need to be able to operate and empower the first movers so that we can actually get things moving and not have legislation that is blocking things, and actually have it so that it's supporting us throughout this energy transition. And then we come into how all the sustainability piece. Part of the reason we're here is the societal impact, right? It's all about engaging local communities, make that change, make it durable, and actually ensure that everyone is moving in this just transition. One of the things that did come out when we're talking about safety and regulation is the safety over speed. We've got to ensure that we do it safely, because if we don't do it safely, people will die, and then when people die, it's all going to stop, because people will be too scared to use this. If we think about putting ammonia on a ship, as soon as that starts causing problems, it won't happen, the technology's gone. So we need to get everything and all of our ducks in a row to move this forwards. But actually then it all links back in again, so almost coming all the way around the circle, we then had as well this morning on the Blue Invest stage about subsea cables. And actually, ironically enough, it all started here in Greenwich, when we were looking at the history of ropes, and it all started there, and how the ropes then translated into subsea cables. And this innovation on subsea cables that can actually help us progress and propel the energy transition, and hopefully link everything up, because we can't all do it alone, we need to work together. Now I'll hand over to Corinne, who can discuss a bit more about the Blue Invest stage that's gone on.
Thank you. I half expected there to be a real, not divide, but a real distinction between the blue and the green stages today. In particular, we saw this, but the themes have come out as a very thematic approach, and I think also there's empathy within it as well. The thing that struck me today on the blue investment stage was that empathy exists within the finance world, how front and central the sustainability agenda really is, but also how exciting the innovations in technology and approaches and collaborations really are. I think there was a moment in each of the presentations and panel discussions this afternoon of slight overwhelm at just the scale and complexity of what's in front of us. And there's a tendency sometimes to really overstate and sober up the dialogue. So you then take away the optimism and the creativity, and that you get overwhelmed by it. So I think that's the thing for me today, is that challenge of how do we bring these different lenses and positionality of how we look at things and actually bring it together so you do get the collaboration and the ducks in a row, and also how do we do it in a way that really engages people and that they buy into this. It's not something that's going to win votes, so how do you get that kind of citizen movement behind it, but also industry together and those solutions. So it was fascinating, the blue stage this afternoon, and really, I'm an optimist anyway, but it did inspire me that a lot is happening already, and it is how we pull it together. I love this. My only one comment, which I have fed to the illustrator, is that the seal is the underrepresented sea mammal of the ocean. So I've been assured that one is being added to this soon. Thank you. He's on it. Excellent. So that's all I would say, is that, there's a lot to be done, isn't there? But it feels an exciting time to be working on these different strands.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was one little bit in my panel, and it was a takeaway statement, which was, we need to get companies to stop asking the question, what is it going to cost me to decarbonise? And get them to ask the question, what is it going to cost me if I don't decarbonise? And it's getting that mental shift from industry and getting collaboration, and again, through people, through government, through regulation, to actually all think of it in that way. What is the cost if you don't do this, rather than what is this physically costing me here and now to do it? So again, it's been a fascinating and really informative couple of days. I hope you've enjoyed it, we've enjoyed it. And a massive thank you to all of the sponsors who've helped bring the last 2 days to fruition. Danfoss, MIT, Solis, Wood Silver Fleet, Pink Onion Creative, Uberboat Clippers, Corey, Visit Greenwich, Next Wave, and of course National Maritime, who brought this all together in association with the University of Greenwich. It has been absolutely fascinating to learn so much over the last 2 days in wonderful surroundings and very well looked after by the University of Greenwich. So I know there's a few people representing the university in the room, so thank you ever so much for your cooperation and your assistance throughout the last 2 days. It has been a pleasure to be here.